pause, advanced pause here, glazing over these games real quick.
Glazing over the games? You could
stand out. Is that not a phrase?
No, that is definitely not a phrase. Glancing.
I glazed over it, like if you're barely touching it. Like if
grazed.
something glazed.
It's grazed.
You're right. It's grazed.
Not glazing.
Luke just has glazing on the mind.
Man, look, maybe I really like this slate. I just glazed over it. So.
Nobody listens. Screaming my vision. Yelling at pigeons.
Welcome back to Yelling at Sports. This is episode 15, and that might be the most formal intro we've ever had. Because I just remembered we don't really do intros for this one, but we did anyway. Might as well give you guys the date. It's December 19th, Thursday, which means we got Thursday night football. But can I talk to you guys about something that's not sports for a second? I did the worst thing of my life today.
Okay.
Sure.
So the other day, this was the worst thing I ever did, and then I made it even worse today. The other day, I filled out a complaint towards a fast food chain on their website, and I did not like it. But hear me out. I didn't want to consider it a complaint. It was more of a neutral filed statement of an observation made about their food. So I filed a complaint that Cambridge Chick-fil-A doesn't taste the same as Easton's, and I had enough. It's been too long. They haven't fixed it. And I've been eating the Easton one lately because I've been working out there, and it's just so much better.
Yeah.
So I tried to be as nice as I could. I was like, you guys are doing great. The service is always great. The food actually doesn't – I'm not saying the food is bad. It just doesn't taste like Easton's. And then they called me, and I missed their call, and they asked me to call them back, and I called them back today. It was the most uncomfortable conversation I've ever had in my life.
Is it like worse per se?
No, I mean, technically, yes.
Yes.
Like, objectively, yes, but that doesn't mean it's bad. That sounds like it's bad. It's not bad. It's still like, let's assume for scale-wise that Easton Chick-fil-A is a 10 out of 10. Like, it's just amazing, right? Cambridge is still like an 8, 7.5, 8. Like, it's still good food. And that's what I told her, like, when she called me or when I end up having to call her back. I'm like, I feel bad because I feel like I'm telling you guys you're doing a bad job, and you're not. But, like, something got lost in translation with how
there's
the food's supposed to be cooked because it's not the same.
I think when you started off by you filed a complaint to like a restaurant, I was hoping that it was going to be like a really good one. Like I was hoping that you weren't going to say something about like Taco Bell or Wendy's or like one of those hit or miss.
You like Wendy's?
Yeah. No, we both don't like Wendy's.
We hate Wendy's. Yeah. But yeah, Chick-fil-A, and that one I agree with. I mean, it's just not the same. I moved to Easton this year, and so I'm happy to be back over here because I get the good Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, so you know the difference.
Yeah, there's 100%.
I mean, there's a distinct difference. You could blindfold me and give me one of each. I could go 100 for 100 if it was 100 different bites.
100%.
Every time.
I agree.
Time. So
I agree.
Shout out to both.
Chick-fil-A's going to listen to you, so that's a good thing.
I hope so. I mean,
and
they seem like
come on the show.
They were taking it seriously.
Yeah,
come on the show, Chick-fil-A. Sponsor the show, and I'll just say they're all great. I'll be willing to. I'll sell out. But yeah. Anyway, this is a sports show after all. But yeah. Do we want to start with, I guess, the results? I was going to try to transition that into, okay, what's the only sports team that has a Chick-fil-A in their stadium? The Falcons, who just played on Monday night. The Falcons, and they are benching their quarterback, Kirk Cousins. We're finally getting Michael Penix.
One would say they're like the Cambridge Chick-fil-A right now.
Yeah.
They're treading water.
I don't even think what people are saying that. It's all over the internet.
Yeah.
That's what I heard in the Cambridge Walmart today was.
You live in Easton, but you went to the Cambridge Walmart? Okay.
I wanted
Cambridge
to see
Walmart's
all
actually
my high school friends.
way better than the Easton Walmart, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Like 10 times better. It's way
better.
The
last time I went to either of them, honestly.
Easton Walmart is...
It's below par, especially for being in Easton. But back to the football.
Yeah, Okay, yeah, never mind. I was gonna say it's because all the spoiled rich people in Easton are too good for Walmart anyway, so they don't even go there. Yeah, they go to Target, they go to Harris Teeter,
True.
stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, Michael Penix, thoughts? Because people are saying now they're like, oh, everyone said that was a bad draft pick, but look at him now. Now they're using him. It's not that the pick was bad; it's that the pick was bad given that you just paid Kirk Cousins $1 gazillion.
I
That's
agree.
the move that was bad. So it's like that's coming to fruition now, where it's like, well,
now we
now
have-
you
and I
paid this
think,
guy that's going to be on your bench.
looking back at who was mocked to them and who a lot of people thought they were going to take was Jared Verse. And Jared Verse now looks to be, he's at least one of the front runners for Defensive Player of the Year. So with that, if Penix is good, that pick still blows it out of the water. Quarterback is so much more valuable than anything else. But if he sucks, then it's like, well, why did you do that?
Yeah. No, I get that. But yeah, I think it's now you have all this money sitting on your bench where you could have filled other spots, which obviously like the salary cap isn't real because teams move around money all the time, and somehow I don't understand the salary cap. Maybe during the offseason we can do a salary cap episode where I think Luke knows way more about it than I do.
I have an okay understanding of it, but I don't know if there's anyone out there that's just a casual fan or even a hardcore fan that doesn't get caught off by some contracts where they're like, I just don't understand how that works.
Yeah, I don't understand most of it. But yeah, so there's just a bunch of money sitting on your bench, and you could have used it at other positions, maybe even the offensive line position to protect said quarterbacks. But yeah, so I think that's where I'm like, I'm just confused by the call, but also Cousins has been playing awful the past few weeks. And
Very bad. One touchdown and I believe 9 interceptions.
wow, yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, over the last
insane.
handful of weeks, whatever streak that is, just awful. Really bad. But yeah, do we want to go over some scores from last week? We had quite a handful of snoozers, but there was a couple good games mixed in there.
Yeah.
The Rams, that was the grossest game ever.
Yeah, but they're alive,
ago.
and the Niners seem
alive.
to be dead.
Yeah, they are. I feel like the Rams are kind of getting hot. Like, even though they didn't look great that game, it was a weird divisional game.
Yeah.
Any divisional game, I'll always give people a pass. So I feel
in
like
the rain
Rams
too,
are heating.
and they won.
Yeah,
So
yeah, in the rain.
Yeah.
I think they're heating up.
I do want to just point out last year. Sorry, before we move on. The 49ers got blown out last year on Christmas. I drunkenly tweeted that Sam Darnold should go into the game instead of Brock Purdy. A lot of my friends in real life shit on me for that because I genuinely kind of believed it. And I'm going to take a victory lap. So this is to my friends that don't listen to this podcast. I was right. And I wonder where the 49ers would be with Sam Darnold as a quarterback right now.
It's interesting to think about. He's playing a lot better than Purdy this year.
So
significantly.
I mean, Purdy was missing throws that even in the rain you shouldn't miss. He was missing 10-yard outs by about 3 yards. And I was like, whoa, this
pitch
is
and
not.
catch stuff.
Yeah, this is not good.
Yeah, we had Dallas kind of hilariously get a blowout win. I think they might win enough meaningless games to keep McCarthy's job, which is very funny.
Yeah. They also
he's not a good coach.
They were also underdogs in this game, which the Panthers have been playing better, but I don't think that the Panthers should be favorites in almost any game.
I agree.
Yeah, we kind of put well, I say we, but I guess Vegas kind of put, what do they say? Put the carriage before the horse with that one.
Yeah.
Got a little ahead of themselves.
I will say I stayed away from this game. Like, even I do agree with what you're saying, Caleb, but I just stayed away because it could have been a game. Obviously, it didn't turn out this way. That the Panthers won by 16, and then it's like, okay, should they be favored in X amount of games? I think this was a game too early. They have been playing very well. They just didn't play well. Bryce Young played pretty poorly in this one too. So,
yeah, generally they have been playing better, but it had to come back around at some point. I mean, they were still losing too, even while they were playing better. So it was kind of crazy that they were favored. Chiefs-Browns. Chiefs, for once, win by more than a fraction of a point. They take down the Browns 21-7. Ugly game for Jameis. Ended up getting benched for DTR.
Which we can't start DTR. Luke, I know you love DTR, but I do know you love Jameis more. And
facts, both facts.
Like, if you're looking at sample size, even like recently, Jameis has still been better than DTR when DTR comes into games or starts like the minimal games that he's played. Like,
Yeah,
that's not going to give you a spark. Like, I feel like DTR's not a guy that gives you a spark like Jameis will.
and you're not really looking for a spark at this point in the season for the Browns.
You're 3-11.
Yeah. It's over.
It's over. Like you're already eliminated from the playoffs. Like Jameis is going to. I mean, if you're looking for ratings, in Hard Knocks, which I haven't watched last night's episode yet.
Me either.
I'm going to watch it after this. You want Jameis as a starting quarterback because he's going to give you ratings and he's going to he's the only way that the Browns are likable.
Yeah,
sure, but if you're looking for, like, we know what Jameis is, and he's fun to watch, but he's pretty set in stone what kind of player he is. DTR, we haven't seen a ton of, so if you're the Browns and the season's already over, why not put him out there and get one last chance to say, okay, let's see what this guy's got. Let's see if he's worth keeping around or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that. I don't know. DTR's been on the roster for 3 years now, and it's like
this is his second year, I think.
Year 2.
Second, okay. I mean, Stefanski knows what he has in DTR, which is why he is not playing.
In his last year, he played 8 games, started 3. He only has 55 yards a game.
Yeah, I was about to say it's pretty noticeable too when he plays and you watch him. Their offense can't move the ball more than 20 yards. He can't throw the ball downfield. You know, he's an option quarterback, and in the NFL, unfortunately, it's just not going to work out. I mean, he's still on the roster, so maybe they'll give him a chance. But he's not a good NFL quarterback. He's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong.
And also, it's Jameis. Give us Jameis. Give us as much Jameis as we can get.
I agree. Yeah, even when he's bad, when Jameis is bad, it's still good to watch. You know, he threw like 3 interceptions in the last 3 minutes of the game against the Broncos. It was fun to watch. You know, he's trying.
He's gunslinging.
Yeah, I think Jameis is maybe the most fun backup QB in football. He is the most fun backup QB in football. He might be the most fun QB in football altogether. Yeah. But I don't know. I still disagree. I think you might as well put the young guy out there. The season's already over. Yeah. But I'm not going to complain about, well, we aren't getting Jameis. We are getting DTR. I wouldn't have complained about getting more Jameis. Bengals-Titans. The Bengals win this one by 10. Their season's cooked. Titans' season's cooked. Bengals continue to have insane numbers on offense. It doesn't seem likely. I think their statistical odds are still really, really low.
Oh, still really low. But if things fall in the right order, they could be scary. I mean, if that offense could win them a playoff game.
I don't know if it could. Like, their defense is so bad. I don't know if the offense could, as good as it is.
Yeah. I mean, they have the Browns next week, and then they have the Broncos, which
the Broncos. Yeah, we'll talk about the Broncos later, and then the Steelers, and who knows if the Steelers are going to have anything to play for at that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible.
Flying under the radar right now is a Jamar Chase triple crown. Nobody's talking about it. He's 7 receptions up. He's 170 yards up. He's 4 touchdowns up. Nobody's talking about it. I mean, he's as clear a triple crown that we've had in recent history, and nobody's talking about it. So, and I think that's one of those things towards the end of the year, even if they're, they might not make the playoffs, they shouldn't make the playoffs. Burrow and Chase are going to go all out for their stats. I mean, Chase right now is over 100 receptions. He's close to 1,500 yards. He's got 15 touchdowns. I mean, he's got 3 games left. He could go for 125, 1,800 yards, and 20 touchdowns. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, that's unreal.
And that's how bad their defense is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, same with Joe Burrow.
I mean, the offense is on the field. They get the ball a million possessions a game. They're always playing either from behind or in a close game.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, credit to them, though. They are what's keeping them in these games
because
the offense is playing well. Yeah. They're doing what they're asked. As far as the Bengals odds go, I'm going to stick to the idea that they're cooked. They would have to win their final 3 games, which is at home against Cleveland, at home against Denver, and in Pittsburgh. They would also need either the Broncos or Chargers to lose out. So whoever loses tonight's game would have to lose the remaining 2. And then they also need the Dolphins and the Colts to each lose at least 1 game.
Yeah.
So they need a lot, 6% chance.
I was actually just thinking about it with them going to Pittsburgh, even if the Steelers win the division this week and aren't really playing for much seeding. Their backup quarterback is Justin Fields, who is playing for a job next year. So he's going to be playing all out.
Yeah, and I mean, even if the Bengals win out, I just don't see the Chargers or Broncos losing out.
Yeah. The Chargers have the Patriots and the Raiders after this week, so they should win one of those games.
Yeah.
Should win both, but they definitely will win one. So, I still think what they're doing is insane. And then, piggyback off of what you were saying, they're obviously playing from behind. They have to keep up. They have to catch up. They have to stay ahead. All defenses know that, and they're still putting up the numbers that they are.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bad teams that are always playing from behind. And just like the Giants, the Panthers, the Colts, this week, they all got blown out. They couldn't keep up. And the Bengals at one point in this game, I think, were down 14-0.
Yeah.
Or 10-0 or something like that. And they still came back and won this game. So they're a fun team to watch. I do like watching them.
Yeah.
Because the other offense does well against them, and their offense is always clicking in full gear. So.
Yeah, just because they're getting more opportunities to go after those big plays doesn't mean they're not executing those big plays, and they deserve a lot of credit for that because that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of one of the teams they need to lose, the Dolphins lost to the Texans 20-12. The Dolphins, it's time to move on from McDaniel. I know they had some injuries this year, but the guy just cannot beat an above 500 team. I wish I had his record on hand. That would be much better podcasting. Really. But yeah, he seemingly refuses to beat above 500 team. They're too cute. Yeah. They need a coach in there that's going to not want to be cute. They need like Vrabel or something. Someone's going to come in there and
not to say Vrabel.
Stop the Miami Vice cutesy stuff and get to some gridiron hardcore football, old school smash mouth football, if you will, Caleb.
Yeah.
The fall off of Tyreek Hill is pretty incredible this year too. I mean, I watched this game pretty closely. Semifinal had Tyreek in my lineup, and it's I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, I know that he even said he was chasing a bag when he went there, but God bless, he is not as good as he once was, and it's hard to watch how an offense can't get him the ball.
Since September 10th, he has the same amount of 100-yard games as Ty Johnson.
Yeah, not good.
Fun little fact there. He's cooked. I mean, he did say a couple years ago, how many years does he have left? It kind of went under the radar. He said when he was going to retire, and everyone just kind of brushed it off. I think he only has based on that statement, I think he only has next year, but he hasn't reaffirmed it.
I think that's when his Dolphins contract is up too. So
yeah. So we'll see if he sticks to that or not. Either way, they're cooked. Texans are still. They don't seem like the Texans I expected, but probably still going to win their division. So they did win their division, so they're going to be fine as far as making the playoffs are concerned. Yeah. Commanders almost got snake bitten by the Rattler snake. Came in for Jake Hayner, Spencer Rattler. Brings them back. They end up chance to tie and go to overtime. They do the right thing and go for 2. Season's over anyway. And they did not get it. So the Commanders narrowly escape and continue their playoff push.
Yeah. And I think their defense is really bad. But I mean, I don't know what they'll do in the playoffs, but I think they'll be fun to watch that first round.
Yeah.
It does scare me. Last time they had a young quarterback make the playoffs, a young mobile quarterback. I don't want to speak into existence, but just watch out for that.
That was the worst. That was the worst thing to happen on January 6th in D.C. that I can think of. Yeah. Robert Griffin tore his ACL.
At least the worst thing that you weren't a part of.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
dang. Out of them.
accusations.
But yeah, no, Jaden Daniels is fun. I mean, that was the game
for like NFC teams trying to make the playoffs that they needed the Commanders to lose. If you're already counting like the upcoming week as a loss against the Eagles.
But yeah, they looked good. I mean, they could have done better, obviously, because it's the Saints, and the Saints aren't that good. But they have the Eagles, Falcons,
Cowboys coming up, and I don't think they'll beat the Eagles, but they can definitely beat the Falcons and the Cowboys.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to talk about Jets Jags because one, Brian Thomas he might be the best receiver from this class, which is crazy because it's a class of Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors, but he's playing out of his mind. And Aaron Rodgers, I didn't get to watch a lot of this game, but Tanner, did his stat line and vibe match his performance? Because it seemed like it might have been his best performance as a Jet.
Yeah, second half for sure. I mean, I got quite a bit to say about this game. So, he had three completions in the first half. And then he and Adams went nuclear in the second half. Adams had 10 receptions, 198, and 2 tutties in the second half.
Yeah, I think he had 120 yards in the last 4 minutes or something.
Yeah. He was. They turned back the clock. They looked great. I think they're playing their way into the Jets 2025 roster. It's all about what the coach does, but Rodgers has too much money to lose if we cut him. There's not a better option at this point, even if we draft somebody that's going to start for us next year. Adams, I think, is still a good wide receiver. I think running it back next year with, much like you said about the Dolphins, with somebody like Vrabel, or somebody that's just no nonsense, isn't going to buy into all this goddamn hysteria on Tuesdays when we go on Pat McAfee and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Although, not to interrupt, was that not what Saleh was supposed to be? The no nonsense, tough, hard nosed coach.
When you look at Robert Saleh, that was the hope.
Yeah.
And then you heard his first interview, and you're like, "This guy's a teddy bear," and that was proven over and over and over again.
Looked like Tarzan, coach like Jane.
Yeah. Yes. That's
I just remember the Coach Ote used to always say,
I
like
love
Tarzan
that.
plays like Jane. So
yeah, that's Robert Saleh. I think the bigger thing coming out of this game, and I don't think it was directly from this game, is that Jets Twitter, and there's a lot of good sources saying Garrett Wilson's going to request a trade.
wow.
Which a lot of Jets Twitter and myself personally, for him, it doesn't make me hate him. It doesn't make me like him any less.
Right.
I would do the exact same thing. Nobody wants to win, honestly, more than he does. He doesn't care about the rest of the stuff. He never complains when he doesn't get the ball. He just simply wants to win. His interviews this year, I thought, were a beacon of light for the Jets of, I sucked in this game, or we didn't win. I don't care what I did.
Yeah.
And if he requested a trade and left, I would have absolutely no hard feelings. He spent 3 years here. We're about to go into another rebuild. You know, as a Jets fan, it's just so painful to watch because of everything I just said. He is a beacon of light on this team. He probably is the most beloved Jet. I'd say, honestly, him and Sauce since Darrelle Revis. And I love this kid, genuinely. I hope that he's a Jet for his whole career. But it seems more than likely that he's going to request a trade, not because of money, but because he does not want to lose anymore, which I can respect thoroughly. So we'll see what comes of that. But yeah, that was some heartbreaking news I saw today.
Man, so Rodgers is not the most beloved Jet. Wow.
Steelers Twitter is going to take that clip and run with it to say that he's going to be a Steeler next year.
Yeah, for sure. You know what?
Yeah.
I think
Well, you guys,
I would say I know you aren't necessarily upset with him for that if it happens, but I think the Jets should be, and I think as a punishment, they should make him play in the division so that they can punish him twice a year. They should send
100%.
him to the Bills so that they have to
Oh, I
play
thought you were
him
about
twice.
to say
So
Patriots.
Sauce Gardner can play the opposite side of the field as him
Yep.
twice
Yep.
a year. I agree.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And that
Yeah.
will be his punishment. Like, oh yeah, you want to leave? You're gonna see us twice a year. Have fun in
Yeah.
Buffalo, buddy.
It would be
crazy.
I mean, I think this offseason for the Jets, not to drag this on too long because I don't want
No,
to talk
you're good.
about them too much, but I think it could be an extremely intriguing offseason. Obviously we're bringing in a whole new staff. The team that we have built now on defense is built around a base 4-3, which not many teams play. I think there's a lot that could happen this offseason, especially if Garrett gets traded. I can't imagine him going for less than one high first round, maybe even 2 first round picks.
Mm-hmm.
If Garrett goes, what do we do with Brees Hall? What do we do with Sauce if we don't lock them up? I don't want to see that happen. I don't want us to have multiple first round picks over and over and over. But it's certainly something to keep an eye on as the offseason goes with the new GM and a new coaching staff. So
yeah, first round picks are great, but you got to hit on them. You still got to hit on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner are guys you did hit on. So it's
well, you got to hit on it and you got to build around it. And we hit on it, but then we didn't, fully build around it. We've already talked about that before, but so we'll see what happens. I desperately hope that he does not leave because Garrett's one of my favorite players that we've ever had. His mindset is exactly what we need in the locker room, especially from a young guy.
Yeah,
So.
I'm excited to see what happens. Off season, like speculation and trades and stuff is like I love that almost as much as regular season. So
yeah,
not rushing the season away because I'm enjoying it, but I will have a lot of fun even when we get to the off season. So, moving on, we had Steelers Eagles. No one really cared about this game, so I think we'll just move on to the Ravens game. But Ravens Giant. No, I'm kidding. Caleb, what'd you think?
Steelers are dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, relax. I was gonna say that's crazy.
We're
Panic
dead.
button
We're dead.
hit.
Fire Tomlin. We're done. Like the Steelers. It is always the saddest. I don't say sad, but like the Steelers clinched the playoffs on Sunday with like other teams losing, but like clinching that in a loss is just crazy. It always feels crazy to me.
Yeah, it's weird.
But no, I think there were signs like the offense struggled a little bit, but the Eagles have a good defense. Like it's not like they were going against like a scrub of a defense.
And the Najee fumble was just the Steelers' offense. Like that wasn't because the Eagles made a great play. That's just a boneheaded play that you can't count on that happening all the time.
Yeah. His
It
first
sucks,
fumble of
but-
the year, which because he holds the ball well and he runs the ball a lot, is tough. And that was right when the momentum was starting to shift. They were running the ball down their throats and looked like a touchdown drive where the Eagles recover the fumble and then go down and score. Really tough way to lose, but the Link is a tough place to play. The defense played football. The special teams played football. They're cut from a different cloth. That Danny Smith chewing gum on the sidelines is always the funniest thing. Like I love when the special teams makes a play and they just pan the camera over to him and he's just got
chomping
a cheek full of gum. And
you just love looking at his cheeks on the sideline.
especially when they're thick.
Nice and full.
Yeah, Danny Smith has thick cheeks.
There you go.
Quote card that. But no, I think the season is they can win the division this week against the Ravens, which I'm sure we'll talk about that more. But yeah, I'm not losses happen. Like if you expect to go through the entire season undefeated, if you told me that going into this week that the Steelers would have already clinched the playoffs
and had a chance to win against the Ravens to deal up the division.
You would
Yeah.
sign up for that.
I would
a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think you would have shipped this game 100%. You know what I mean? You'd be
yeah.
like, I don't care what
Yeah.
happens in this game. If everything else you're saying is true, then so be it. So
Yeah, so excited for this week. Ravens play the Ravens on Saturday. I have a big weekend of football on Saturday big weekend on Saturday, but a big day of football because Penn State plays a playoff game at 12, and then the Ravens game at 4:30. So excited.
how many this is all well. It's on topic. How many beers do you think you're going to crush on Saturday? Could we get an over/under number on that?
It depends on where I'm at. I think I'm going to be in Maryland. So I don't know. I haven't really been.
You're coming to town this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Oh shoot, yeah, Christmas is mad close.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probably going to drive down Saturday morning. It's only like a 4-hour drive. So I'll probably leave here Saturday morning. So I don't know. It depends. I might have a few.
All right.
Have a few on the way.
Over under a few and a half.
A few and a half. All right, I like that. Yeah, I'll hammer the over. Something tells me you're going to have more than a few and a half.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge Saturday. Huge Saturday. Speaking of the Ravens dismantle the Giants. The Giants are very bad. Giants probably win this game if they start Drew Lock, as we all know. So the Ravens did kind of luck out there. And they are switching back to him this week. Kind of doing a Ray Allen thing right now, the Giants, switching back and forth. But, Ravens, I mean, you can only play who you play, right? They play a bad Giants team, but good teams are supposed to blow those kind of teams out, and they sure did.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts?
Lamar had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He looked good. He had
No.
really good stats.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment on that.
No one, and I was talking to Luke about this, like, not in a negative way for lack of a better term and verbiage of this, but nobody stat pads like Lamar Jackson stat pads. Like
Lamar Jackson.
Yep, Jack and Jackson. Jacking off Jackson. Way you. I don't know. Like, every time this team's favored by, 10 plus points, Lamar's putting up some insane stat lines. So, which is great. That's what you want, if you're rooting for a team. Obviously, the Ravens do keep bad teams close. I have the Giants as my underdog. Those games, when you bet a 16.5 point spread, it's all about the red zone. The Giants continue to go on 4th down when they could have kicked field goals, and they couldn't stop a nosebleed when the Ravens got inside the Giants 30, which was so frustrating.
I have a gripe about that saying. I don't think nosebleeds are that easy to stop, and people say that a lot.
Yeah, it's true. They
have you ever?
I feel like every time someone has a nosebleed, like, oh my god, like, what do I do? Like, someone get me, like, I need a towel or something.
I've seen some people. It takes hours. Okay,
yeah.
I'm just saying.
So, for what it's worth, the Giants kind of did a better job of stopping Lamar.
No, if this was a nosebleed, they probably would have been in the hospital.
They bled out. Yeah, if this was a nosebleed, they bled out.
Yeah. And going back to you saying Lamar Jackson stat padding, he has 13 of his 35 passing touchdowns against the Bengals and the Giants.
Yeah.
So,
hey, like Luke said, you play who you play.
Yeah, you play who you play, right? He's putting up numbers against teams he should put numbers up against. So, but I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. I guess I would ask more for the listeners if you clarify, because stat padding can have different meanings, right? So you could be like, oh, Lamar is always calling an audible on a run play or something to call his own shot or something like stuff like that. But it sounds like you're saying more so when there's a bad team, he's like, this is a chance to pump my numbers, and he does that.
Well, I don't even think, like, I don't know how to word. This is a positive saying, viewers. I'm saying this in a positive way.
Tanner,
thumbs up.
And respectfully to Ravens fans, they will not. Whatever you're about to say, they will not take positive.
Yeah, no.
You have to say that it's positive. They are not going to take it positive.
TikTok and all of that. No, you play who you play. When he plays these teams, he does a very, very good job of reading their defense and scoring touchdowns, especially from 25 to 35 yards out. It's like right before the red zone. Field's starting to shorten, and he's got somebody down the seam. He's hitting all the right routes. So, it's not like Josh Allen when he plays the Texans or anything like that, or Lamar against the Steelers in the first game.
Yeah.
Lamar gets dialed in for these games, is what I'm saying. He does a very good job. It's all positive. Please don't take it out of proportion, Ravens fans.
Good luck.
God.
Yeah, they will. Ravens fans, if it makes you feel any better, when we were about to record, Tanner was pulling up, notes and whatnot, pulling up Lamar's stats. And when Lamar's stats came up on his screen, he was like, "Oh, holy smokes!" Like this guy's
guy
balling.
sucks.
So you guys didn't see that. So before
Yeah.
you jump to conclusions, you didn't get to see that.
No.
He also has 5 more against the
Bucks, who aren't bad, but they're also, I wouldn't say, good
Yeah.
on defense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
half his
he
touchdowns
locks in
came
for
in
the
4
games
games,
that-
but
Yeah.
that's still, nobody. I'm not shitting on him for that. That's still incredible. And you play who you play. So.
But I do think that we need to see them in the games that are must-win. Which
Well,
every
yeah,
game is
that's
must-win,
that's
but,
been
like,
his whole career. You look at the games that are needed to win, and AFC Championship's a great example of that.
I do think it's crazy that he's having a much better statistical year this year than he did last year, where he won the MVP, and Josh Allen's going to win the MVP this year.
Yeah, because Josh Allen keeps sniping these 1-yard rushing touchdowns. It's insane.
Insane.
Yep. I think what's even more impressive is that James Cook is tied for the lead in touchdowns in spite of that
Oh,
for running backs.
Yeah.
So
Poor James Cook.
pretty hard to have 13 touchdowns when your QB is evidently having 1 million 1-yard rushing touchdowns.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Do we want to jump into that game next, or I don't know what's next on your list?
We had Colts Broncos. We can just acknowledge how crazy it is that people are still just dropping the ball before they get in the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. Like,
Yeah.
if I was a coach at this point, I would be coaching my players to run through the back of the end zone, no matter what the play is. I don't care how you score. I don't care if you fight through a dog pile. Yeah. I don't care if it was a QB sneak. You run through the back of the end zone.
Yeah, it'd be like Friday Night Lights, the movie, where the dad tapes the son or the ball to the son. And he's like, "You're never gonna fumble again." He's very drunk, and it's definitely abuse. But he didn't fumble after that. Just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
When I was watching, I wasn't watching this game, but I was watching the stats, and I saw that Bo Nix had, was it 3 interceptions without a touchdown, or was it 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, or something like that?
I think he threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he had 3 in the game.
Okay.
But he also had 3 touchdowns by the end of it, and I was
About to be like, well, glad I didn't jump on the Bo Nix train.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah. I was going to ask, does this push back the is it delayed? Like, has the departure been
not
delayed
at all.
of the train?
It might leave the station this week, honestly.
Can I have Can I have one more week?
No, I'll give you one more week, but
Can I have till Friday?
Well, they play tonight.
Yeah. We'll give you until after the Chargers game, and he might not have a good game against the Chargers. He's still a rookie here. Guys,
I just need to have a game where
that's
I'm
fine.
watching
him,
which I haven't watched.
I think the thing about Bo Nix that I like a lot is the games that could go either way, they win.
I want you to know that I have my ticket for the train, but I just need to pack a couple more bags.
Okay, well, pack your bags, dude, because it's leaving very soon.
I might be running on last second, and I might have a bad seat on the train. But I want you to know that I'm working my courage to get on the train.
I'm at the ticket booth, and I have my train was the destination was DTR Hall of Fame, Drew Lock Hall of Fame, and I'm trying to exchange them, and they won't take them back. So it's like, I'm probably gonna miss the train because by the time I get that sorted out, the train is gonna be gone. So I'm over at the ticket booth, and we'll see if I get there in time.
Hopefully, when I'm running to catch the train, I'll see Luke and be like, "Luke, come on, I
reach out.
We gotta go. Leave them. Leave those tickets. Let's go."
Yeah. They cash those out. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, he did end up throwing for 3 touchdowns to spark them to a win. So
yeah,
they're gonna catch me sneaking on the train with a Drew Lock ticket. Hey, catch that man! He didn't pay his admission.
And then, but the train's gonna be gone, and you're just gonna be waving out the side.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Broncos.
That's Broncos football, baby.
That's trains, baby. Let's go. Bills Lions. We'll get better at transitions at one point. Someday we'll figure it out. But yeah, Bills Lions. This was kind of looked forward to as sort of the game of the week, and I guess the score would look like it was, but the game was kind of never in doubt. Did you guys catch any of this game or?
No.
I watched the fourth quarter. I was able to catch the fourth quarter of
So
it.
you saw the insane onside kick.
I did, yeah. Which
Why?
I don't know. And especially now that you have to report that you're onside kicking, it's like,
Yeah.
why? You're down 2 touchdowns with, what was it, like almost 10 minutes left. It's like, well, let's.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think Dan Campbell tries to be more Dan Campbell than Dan Campbell was last week.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of like, they could have won this game.
Yeah.
Which would have been an outrageous win.
I texted one of my group chats right after that, and I was like, man, I think Dan Campbell might have went a little too Dan Campbell there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just a horrible, horrible decision. I mean, I guess in some way it's like they hadn't been able to stop the Bills' offense to that point. So in his brain, he's probably thinking, okay, we either get it, it's momentum shift, and we got a chance to win this game, or we don't get it, and at least when they score, they took up less time.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing I can think of. But then they score a couple minutes later, and there's like 8 minutes left, and he does an onside kick. So it's like weird. I don't understand.
When you explain it that way, that reminds me of how I used to play Madden when I was 13.
Yeah.
Like, if they go and score, I at least have more time to go score more points.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's kind of
You're
like,
I haven't stopped them yet. So
yeah,
in a weird way, I'm better off if they only need to get like 30 yards.
yeah,
They're going to take up less time, and I have more
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
I do want to take this moment
That's the only way
to
I
talk
can
to y'all
think
about
about
how
Jesus
I
Christ.
wasn't on the episode last week, and you guys just forgot ball knowledge.
Oh.
We're talking about
whoops.
we're talking about the Bills and their goal line 1 yard sneaks
Package.
using the
that they rarely use.
that they rarely use. But Tanner referred to, I think it was Tanner first, referred to it as the Philly special. And that just simply is not the Philly special.
Yeah.
No, it's not the Philly special.
I'll
It's
die
the
on the
Toast
sword
Boys. You're
too
right.
because
You're right.
I didn't even notice, and I went
You
right
did
along with
notice.
it. If you
Yeah,
listen back, I'm
yeah.
right with it. I'm like,
And
yeah,
I
we
was
were
sitting there.
in Philly special formation. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like,
Thanks,
I was
Caleb.
listening. Hey, I listened.
Way to make me feel even worse about myself. But
Well, yeah, Caleb.
all
Wow,
jokes
way to
aside,
go.
you are right. It's
I
not
was
the
like,
Philly special.
I was so mad. I was like, this is not. If they
This
ran
guy's
the
an
Philly,
idiot.
I was like, if they ran the Philly special 2 plays in a row, there's no way.
Okay, spin zone. I have 2 questions for you, Caleb. 1, is or is not that play a specialty play?
It's a QB
Yes or no?
sneak with a push.
Yes or no? Yes or no is it a specialty play?
I mean, it was, but now
It
everybody's
is.
doing it.
It is.
Oh,
Thank you,
come
Tanner.
on.
Correct, Tanner. Second question. Is Philly not the team that's famous for running it?
Yes, but that is
Okay,
not,
all
that
right.
is- that is-
All
that
right,
is-
next
that's all
game.
we needed.
All right,
All
so
right.
that
Push,
game was
push.
great. Josh Allen was awesome. The next game was Cardinals Patriots.
Luke, in another life, you would have been an incredible lawyer.
Maybe in this life, who knows?
Who knows? Didn't PJ want to be a lawyer for a little bit?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I was so young.
All
I remember
right.
he went to Wisconsin one time because he was thinking about going to school there, and he brought me back a Packers football. That's all I remember.
All right.
So,
Cardinals,
yeah.
Patriots.
But no, yeah, just
It could-
wrapping
it could
up
be in your
on
blood.
wrapping up on that game. The MVP race continues to be Lamar and Josh. Both had incredible games this week. The crossbody throw to James Cook was just unreal. One of many unreal plays. The coolest play he had this week didn't even count because of a holding. I'm not going to do the
man.
Chiefs thing and say they should have picked it up because it was a cool
Picked it up
play.
because
It was a hold. Like a hold is a
Hall
hold.
of Fame player.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't even seen the replay of the exact hold. I'm just watching the rest of the play the whole time.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just assume it was the right call, and it is what it is. But it was pretty crazy. Rolls out to his left, looks like he's gonna run, and then chest pass. I thought it was Kevin Love out there. 2-handed
Oh, it's
chest
dope.
pass to
That was
Dalton
so
Kincaid.
Awesome.
Would have been nice if it counted, but
Did not.
this sucks because another touchdown he could have, stat padded to his stats, and
Yeah.
now it won't be there. Oh, also, last thing. There's a clip going around, and this is where I'm like, people are cooked. Like, I don't know how to word this because it's not reading comprehension because it's not an interview on paper or something. It's a clip from the game. But Josh Allen asked Khalil Shakir in the huddle, do you want a receiving touchdown or a rushing touchdown? I got you. When they called the play, which ended up being a flip pass to him for a touchdown, Khalil says, I want a receiving touchdown. And people are like using that to say Josh Allen. Look at Josh Allen. See, he does. Look how bad he stat padding. He had a passing touchdown instead of a rushing.
No, he had a chance to hand him the ball or flip him the ball, and he
It
wanted to
very
do that.
clearly, like, it doesn't show them in the huddle, but it shows Khalil with the receivers and Josh with the QBs. And someone, I don't remember who, maybe it was Ty Johnson, jokingly came up to Josh and was like, "Oh, you changed that to a pass to get that stat." He's like, "I asked Khalil," and then it flicks to Khalil with the receivers, and he was like, "They were like, was that supposed to be a run or a pass?" And he was like, "Josh asked me which one I wanted. I told him pass." So, and somehow people are using that video to say he's stat padding. So I don't know. People are dumb. People don't know how
Well,
to
yes. I mean,
understand the
you
English
know,
language.
when you play a 12-1 team, that's probably the best time to start.
That's the
stat
best time
padding.
to stat pad. Yeah, the easiest time.
Check
And
that out.
and asking your receiver if he would like a rushing touchdown instead, and offering that up as an option, definitely indicates that you're padding your stats.
Khalil Shakir probably had himself in fantasy, so he wanted that extra point.
Yeah, he gets an extra point if it's a catch.
Yep.
Why not? But yeah, fun game. So we did have Cardinals Patriots. This game, I'm not going to spend time on this game, but Drake May did have another one of those plays where I'm kind of like, uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might.
Yeah.
He might have it. He might have it in him. Pause. Bucks Chargers. Shocking result here.
This was the cold. I was ice cold with this pick.
Yeah, our picks were not great this week.
But
No, they
I thought that the Chargers could
We
go.
got
And they were up.
we
they were up
combined for
17 to
4, 5 maybe total.
Yeah, they were up.
Not good.
They were up
They were up
17.
17-14, I think, at one point.
Yeah, at one point. They're up 17-13 in the first at the end of the first half, and then
did not score another point in the second half. And Baker had a really good game, which I feel like I love Baker Mayfield. 4 touchdowns, 288. He did have an interception, but he just went off.
They let Baker cook.
Yeah, in LA. Which is, I mean, he's had games recently that were good there when he came in for the Rams on a short week where he just got traded there, just signed there, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Went off, and maybe he just needs to go to LA, even though there's just not a spot for him there. But
yeah, the Bucks. You know,
they're going to have a tough first game if they're probably most likely going to be the 3rd or 4th seed. They're going to get one of those NFC North teams that didn't win the division. But I mean, Tampa's a tough place to play as well. So
Yeah.
we could get another. Was it who did the Seahawks play that year? That
The Saints.
was the Saints. Yeah, with the Beastquake, where just a under delivered team gets a home game and beats a much better opponent.
Yeah. Wow. I did not realize we just spent almost an hour on the recap. So we're gonna just say, yeah, Packers looked awesome. They're getting hot.
we're fine. We're yapping.
And the Bears and
nowhere to
the
go.
Bears Vikings game sucked. The Falcons Raiders game was one of the worst football games that's ever existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here are our picks. There you are. You saw them. You don't have to see them again. They're gone.
They never even
Not
loaded in
good.
on my screen.
Did they really not?
No, it
Dang.
popped up. The square.
I hope that
popped
does.
up.
That's
then-
our luck. That's going to cause a problem with the edit. It's going to be like, oh, we were unable to upload the.
Yeah.
No, great. Now I'm going to be worried about that. But yeah, our picks were bad. Anything else on this week? You guys want to roll into next week?
Let's roll into next week.
Nah, I got nothing.
We got some good games this week,
We do.
Yeah.
We got a nice little slate.
especially like the first 2 days of football this week.
Yeah. It's cool that we have. I mean, it's weird that we have NFL football on Saturday, but more football or more spread out football, more opportunities to watch. I'm in.
Yep.
Speaking of which, tonight's game, Broncos and Chargers. Broncos clinch a wild card spot with any win in their last 3 games, so they can do that tonight
Okay.
with a win over division rival Chargers.
Yeah.
We can see Bo Nix in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think this is going to be
The train
a
will have
fun
already
game.
left by then too.
I think it's time for Bo. Like this is like a primetime game. Bo Nix needs to go out there and ball. Not even just he doesn't even necessarily have to ball. He just has to win.
Yeah.
And he needs to not cost them the game.
And
Like I said, I'll punch the ticket. Even in a loss, if he plays really well, like my ticket will be punched.
But I'm excited to see. I'm excited for this game.
I love divisional rival games.
And then a divisional rival.
Thursday night, like I wish they did every Thursday night game was division games.
Yeah, they've been close to that this year.
Yeah.
Most of them were. I think there was an emphasis. It feels like if you look at the schedule, they maybe for whatever reason they couldn't get all divisional, but it looked like they tried because a lot of them have been divisional matchups, which has been good for it because we've had good football. Bo Nix, a stat from bring back color rush. Stat from Barstool Gambling. Bo Nix is Mr. Spread. Bo Nix led teams are 21-6-1 against the spread since the start of 2023. Oregon 10-3-1, Broncos 11-3.
Wow.
So man's a cover
is
machine.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, good QBs win, great QBs cover.
Agreed. There we go.
Yeah.
The Chargers in this game, I did not realize, and this is, I guess, me not knowing ball, but I know now. They have a 5th-round rookie corner from Maryland. He's a Terp. That is balling.
Okay.
That's Tarheeb Still.
Okay.
He compared to Quinyon Mitchell, who is probably between him and Jared Verse, kind of the leaders for Defensive Rookie of the Year right now. Mitchell's plus 100. Tarheeb Still is plus 1,600. But if you're comparing their stats, Mitchell has 32 solo tackles to Still's 33. Mitchell with 9 assists to Still's 15. Mitchell has yet to record an interception. Still has 4, including a pick 6, and has played 3 less games than Quinyon Mitchell.
That's crazy.
So
Still
the
plays
Terp is
in
absolutely
the slot,
balling.
right?
I don't really know. I didn't really watch the film. I just read the stats. I just discovered him. I admitted that. I was me not knowing ball, not knowing him.
It's okay. This is the
But I
second
know-
time I've told you his name ever.
I'm aware of him now. You know,
Yeah.
Tarheeb Still. I wasn't familiar with your game, but I am now.
I was gonna ask if we know
Shout out to the
like
Terp.
how many yards each of them have given up, how many like targets the corners are getting.
Those are like really good stats that are not. They're not important for this argument. So.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm stupid.
So dumb. No, but yeah, shout out to the Terp, Mr. Still. Shout out to Tags, fellow Terp. He's I'm sure he's gonna be happy that we're giving him some giving Tarheeb some love here. So shout out to him. Won't win Defense Player of the Year, but I'm sure Chargers fans will wish he did.
Well,
Great
he
value in
Probably
the
wouldn't
5th
win
round.
defensive rookie of the year.
That's what I just said.
You said defensive player of the year.
He also won't win that either.
Am I wrong? Yeah, he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that was, and
Got me there.
if anything, that's way more accurate statement than what you said. He's way more likely to win Defensive Rookie of the Year than he is
That
DPOY.
is true. I wonder what his odds for defensive player of the year are.
Probably a lot. All right, anything else on this game?
No, I think it should be fun.
It's gonna be a
All
good
right,
game.
yeah, should be fun. Texans Chiefs Saturday at 1. Mahomes and Hollywood Brown listed as full participants this week, so we could see Hollywood Brown Chiefs debut. Did he get hurt in camp or week like 1 or 2?
I think it was week 1.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
There's
that
definitely
sounds
a-
right.
Has anybody played on a high ankle sprain more than Patrick Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes
I don't think
is
so.
starting to give like Ben Roethlisberger vibes with injuries
Mm.
and playing
Yeah.
through injuries.
Yeah, every year around this time of year, all of a sudden his ankle is just collapsing.
Yeah.
He's got a high ankle sprain. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had one for the past 4 years. It's actually incredible.
And we need
Someone
the
said-
picture of him with the ice all over him.
Yeah, someone said they should just sit him until playoffs, and honestly, not the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Hey.
I personally, as a Bills fan, would love that.
Carson
But-
Wentz was a front runner for the MVP before he tore his ACL.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they went through a whole road slate last year, still won it all. I think
Yeah.
a healthy Mahomes is more valuable than home field advantage. But
Yeah.
look, if you think you can have both, I'm not going to undermine home field advantage. That'd be a great thing to have. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're the pros. They'll make that call. But I can see the case for it.
Yeah. I think this should be the Chiefs, but like the Texans have already clinched their division, and I was looking at their record. 4 of their 5 losses were 1-score games. So like,
Yeah.
Most of the wins are that too, though. They need a
Yeah.
statement win.
yeah,
Yeah,
same
they
with
haven't
the
been
Chiefs,
really
though.
impressive.
The Chiefs have mostly
That's
been
true.
1-score games, so I think it's going
That's
to be
true.
a lot closer. I know it's only a -3 spread for the Chiefs, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be really close and going to be a fun game to start that. Saturday for NFL.
If the Chiefs win, it's probably gonna be another one of these weird, like something just weird happens at the end to
Yeah.
get them to win.
I'm looking for Stroud to have a big game though. Like I think he's going to like try to show out, like especially going against Mahomes and
Yeah,
hopefully it's a
I
big
would
game.
love that. As an Ohio State fan who also his NFL team needs the Chiefs to lose, I would love nothing more than a Stroud masterclass. Also, note on this game, and this is very important for this matchup. I don't know if you guys saw this. Kind of changes everything. But Texans wide receiver Stephon Diggs says Josh Allen should be this year's MVP, quote, without a doubt. So we'll see what that means for this matchup. Thought that was worth mentioning.
Ooh, get out of here. Talk about that.
I just thought that was
Talk about
thought that was
during the
relevant. That's Stephon Diggs. What does that have to do with the Bills? I never said the word Bills in that whole statement.
Yeah, you said Josh.
That was a
Allen.
Stephon Diggs stat right there.
He'll be a Cowboy next year.
He will be a Cowboy next year, or a Raven. In that quote, actually, he was I felt like he was buttering up the Ravens a little bit. He was like, yeah, it should be Josh, without a doubt. I mean, that guy's balling for sure. There's another guy in Baltimore, Lamar, who's playing great, which will definitely make it a little harder for the voters. But, Josh has been that guy. So I'm like, I feel like he threw that in there. He's a Maryland guy, maybe trying to weasel his way in there. But, yeah, okay. So, Steelers, Ravens, Caleb.
All right. I think I'm always nervous for Ravens week. Will always be nervous for Ravens week. Not super confident just because we beat them last time, and like growing up, like it tended to be a split between the Ravens and the Steelers. The Steelers have owned the rivalry the last few years. The Steelers are 8-2 against the Ravens in the last 10. And they've also like owned Lamar. Like they've owned the Ravens and they've also owned Lamar. And I'll just bring some stats to the table. I don't know if you guys care about stats.
Let's do it.
Lamar
It's a stat potluck. Bring your own stat.
Lamar is 1-4 against the Steelers, which is not good. So over the last 10 games, he started half of them, and he's lost the same amount as they've played when he hasn't. They're 1-4 with and 1-4 without him.
Mm-hmm.
At 57% completion percentage, which isn't that great. It's not like awful. It's not like, oh my god, this is the worst ever. But
You can win with it, but it's not game changing.
Yeah. 153 yards per game. 5 touchdowns, so averaging 1 touchdown a game. 8 interceptions and 3 lost fumbles. So,
Yikes.
yeah. So
he's averaging 1 touchdown a game and more than 1 pick per game.
more than 1 turnover.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
are those touchdowns passing and rushing?
No, that's just passing. He has no rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Sneaky doesn't rush touchdowns that often.
Yeah, and he's been sacked
Not a 1-yard
22
rushing,
times
so.
in 5 games.
Sheesh. They're getting after him.
Yeah, so and with a 66.7%, I don't know if it's passer rating or QB rating. It's 66.7 rating. Also not that good. And
I like that. Just a mystery. Who knows? It's either
It just said
QB
rating.
rating,
It was
passer
I think
rating.
that's probably passer rating because
Yeah,
that's
it was
a
on
decent
StatViews.
QB rating.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
like there's been some drops. There's been one of the interceptions was Peyton Wilson making an incredible play where he just snatched the ball from Justice Hill. But there's some field goals, but those things are part of football. Like it's a team game, and Lamar has not played well against the Steelers. So I'm less worried about Lamar and more worried about just the rest of like AFC North smash mouth football.
You can chalk it up to field goals. But I watched just a few of his throws from the last time they played. When I pulled up the film, I didn't have a ton of time, but like early on in the game, they have a 2nd and 6, and he's got Zay Flowers wide open with his hand in the air, begging for a touchdown. He could have somersaulted into the end zone if he wanted to, and he forces it to Deontay Johnson for it was never even close, incompletion. They move to 3rd and 6. I don't know if Flowers said something in the huddle like, "Oh man, like I was there, I was open, I'm cooking this guy," because then Lamar forces it to Flowers on the next play, also not even close, incomplete, when he could have had Isaiah Likely for probably a first down, if not maybe like a 4th and 1, 4th and 2. So something about the Steelers, man. I don't know if they just get in his head or what. Granted, that was a small sample. I didn't watch the whole thing, but that was just an example of you talk about, well, Tucker's missing these field goals. Like, okay, but if you're making the right reads and throwing to the right guy, you're not settling for that field goal, at least in that scenario.
Yeah, I'm trying to find right now. I know it's a winning record. I'm trying to find Mike Tomlin's record after a loss because I think it's like something absurd, but I can't find it. Unfortunately,
If only there was a way to know this. Like if there was some kind of database you could access.
I'm
online.
on it right now.
Like I wonder if that
Go to
would
Chat
be able to tell you.
GPT. Chat
Yeah, that's true.
GPT.
That's true. I do kind of like the idea of just always just leaning on ChatGPT and just taking their word for gold.
Everything.
I can tell you what it says.
Yeah, tell me what it says.
ChatGPT. Okay. This is great podcast.
Great podcast. We went radio silent there for a second.
So while these guys
we didn't go radio silent. We're not on the radio.
they look up statistics, I got vibes on this one. Ravens -6.
That's absurd
You know,
to me. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
absurd.
act as if Caleb's not here. I think the Ravens cover that pretty handily. At the bank, I think they win by 2 touchdowns over the Steelers.
Wow.
The Ravens are heating up, and
the defense plays football.
the Steelers struggled last week against the Eagles. Obviously, Najee fumbled the football, but so did Cooper DeJean at the 10-yard line fielding a punt. So the Steelers, I don't think were ever in that game against the Eagles, and it just feels like another spot where I don't know how long they're going to be in this game against the Ravens. I think the Ravens take it to them. So that's my take while these guys pull up the stat on Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, so according to ChatGPT, which is the all-knowing and almighty, and is never wrong, as of 2023, his post-loss record is 55-24.
Which is incredible.
It's very good.
About to be 55-25.
All right.
All right.
All right, buddy. But yeah, no, like I said, I'm not super confident in this game, but I do think it's going to be a 1-score game, just because that's just the nature of AFC North and the Steelers-Ravens rivalry.
And Mike Tomlin also has a good record in 1-score games.
I just saw it. It was like 96-50 something. So, I've been watching Hard Knocks and watching all the coaches speak to their teams. I've never been more sure that Mike Tomlin is the best coach in that division, which I know 2 of them might be on hot seats relatively soon. So it's really just a two-horse race with Harbaugh and Tomlin. But yeah.
According to what I'm going to now just refer to as StatGPT, Mike Tomlin's record in 1-score games is 45-35, a percentage of around 56%. We ran into this last week with StatGPT, where they like to say around this or that percent. And it just makes me not believe it at all. Because why would you not just say the actual number?
Like when you say allegedly, it's like
it's around 56.
I have
50,
from Steelers.com.
60, who knows?
I just found it. Steelers.com is 98-61.
Okay, well,
I mean, he's definitely played in more than 70 or 80, whatever stat GPT is saying, games. That's 1-score. He's coached for 17 years now.
This was as of the end of 2023. So how many has he played this year? Probably like 60. To add to the numbers.
And that's from July this year. So
and they've won games. They have a winning record this year. But yeah, like I said, I'm nervous about this game. I'm not gonna bet on this game. But that +6 is calling my name if I were to.
Yeah, that just gave me an idea. I might start a Twitter account called StatGPT that just gives out completely unverified stats solely from ChatGPT.
It's a good idea.
That would be good.
It's just like, well, StatGPT said, this player is playing great. It's not verified at all, but it said so, so must be good.
What other games do we want to run through this week?
Yeah, so I'm pause, advanced pause here, glazing over these games real quick.
Glazing over the games? That would you could
stand out. Is that not a phrase?
No, that is definitely not a phrase. Glancing.
I glazed over it, like if you're barely touching it. Like if
grazed.
Glazed.
It's grazed.
You're right. It's grazed.
Not glazing.
Luke just has
Hey yo.
Man, look, maybe I really like this slate. I just glazed over it. So
Eagles Commanders.
I might really like it. Eagles Commanders is important. I'm losing hope in the Commanders. So I don't know if it's going to be good. But it is a divisional matchup, so you can always count on those being a little weird.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big Saquon Barkley game. Like he didn't really get that much going last week, so I think they'll probably feed him, especially if they're trying to get him to his 2,000 yards. And this is a hot take here. The Eagles are my favorites to come out of the NFC. Hot take.
I don't know how hot that is.
Wow.
I don't think that's much of a hot take.
Steaming hot takes from Yelling at Pigeons. No, I just think they looked really good, and their defense is very good. And look, and guess what? Hurts and AJ Brown are friends. They did that handshake.
Apparently,
they did that celebration
allegedly still friends.
Did you see the article? I don't know if it was an article or what, but they dapped up in front of the whole team during a meeting to show that they were friends.
Hell yeah.
Did you see Jalen Hurts' chain? Did you guys see that?
No.
Jalen Hurts wore the most insane
I did see that. Yeah.
in my life.
It was insane. It was just like a rectangle of diamonds.
And it was massive.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
flaunting his massive chain.
Yeah, that's
over the press conference.
That's crazy.
No, it was crazy though. Like the shine on that chain, you don't see that everywhere. A lot of fake chains out there. This is not one of them. I'm gonna pull it up real quick so we can show the listeners, the watchers. Right here. Bam! Look at that. Producer right there.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Insane. I wonder how much that costs.
Probably $20 on Temu.
Yeah, it's a Temu. That's a Temu chain.
Yeah, that's definitely a Temu chain. I'm gonna get me a breed of one Temu chain. That would be awesome.
So wait, does he only have? Was he? How does that work? Like it usually takes like 2 to breed.
Well, he's not bred from one. He is the only breed.
Okay.
Of the breed, he's the only one in that breed. Okay. So it was a small litter, which is unsurprising because other than twins, they're all.
It's true. Damn, that's so true.
Jalen Hurts does have 2 siblings.
But aren't any of them his twin?
Well, it doesn't say litter. It doesn't say litter of one. It says breed.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. And he does have siblings, you said?
He has 2 siblings.
Okay, breaking news. You first heard it here at Yelling at Sports. Jalen Hurts is a liar. And that wraps up that game.
And that is that.
Yeah, that's that. What else stands out? Vikings Seahawks might be a good game. I don't really know what's going on with Geno, but
Seahawks are going to get stopped. Same philosophy as last week when they played the Packers.
Also, Geno got hurt too, so I don't know if he's even playing.
He did get hurt, but he got hurt at some point when it didn't matter. No offense to Geno, but they were down pretty big when he got hurt. I don't know. I haven't seen any injury updates.
He is questionable.
Yeah, I was just saying on whether or not he's going to play. Okay, so we might get Sam Howell. That'll be electric. I mean, they'll still lose, but that'll be fun. That'll be fun. One thing I want to touch. I'm not going to glaze the Bills here. I just want to make an observation.
God.
I'm just making an observation. There won't be any stats
Lots of
involved. Nothing.
glazing.
Won't be any stats involved or anything. The Bills are wearing. They're playing against the Patriots, and for the first time, we're wearing our red jerseys with white bottoms, which obviously we have a white helmet. And I just think this is really funny because it looks exactly like the Patriots throwbacks, and I think that's a funny thing to do against the Patriots.
Jerseys.
Yeah,
because the Patriots wear their white helmets with those jerseys, right?
Yeah, with
White
Patriot
pants.
Pete or whatever.
Pat
the Patriot. Yeah, Pat the Patriot. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of a funny little troll, be it intentional or not.
And guys, I know the people that listen to this show are either married or have girlfriends. Monday night, Packers Saints, you can just skip that game and hang out with your significant other the night before Christmas Eve and just be like, hey, like, no,
I feel like we are doing an injustice to our viewers by saying they should skip a game. I think we're supposed to make that game super interesting.
Nope.
So they can find a way to get away from their wife or girlfriend. Just saying.
I think we're trying to help them out because what they can do is pitch that game as an important game and then be like, you know what? I'd rather spend time with you. And go do something
exactly. Like, listen to what Luke, Caleb, and Tanner are saying about this game, and I'm not watching it for you, baby.
Oh, that's so much better. That's so much better. Yeah,
oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we should have dedicated like a whole 5 minutes aside, where we're just talking about how great this game's going to be.
Yeah.
And then they could be like, look at this. Look how good they said this game is going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, we're not going to go. We're not going to watch it.
I mean, we're going to get a fun game. It's just gonna be so much fun. It's the Packers. It's one of the oldest teams in the league.
Going against the Riddler.
Going against the Riddler.
Yeah. Shout out to the Rizzler, who was the Saints Person of the Year.
The Saints are starting Drew Brees against it this week. Kamara's fully healthy. Reggie Bush is the backup. So the Saints. This is a classic game. Really, the whole NFC is on the line for this game here. Packers haven't lost outside of their division other than the Eagles all year long. And they're one of the best teams in the NFC.
I'm surprised you didn't mention either that the Packers, which is crazy. We've never seen this. They're running the first ever 3 QB set with Favre, Rodgers, and Love, which is crazy because 2 of them are Hall of Famer. One's a Hall of Famer, one's going to be. The third one, who knows? Like, he's trending towards maybe being the next Packer great. So we've never seen all 3 on the field at the same time. So, guys, I hate to tell you, but if your girl wants to do something on Monday night, you can't miss this one because all those guys are still playing. They're still playing for these teams.
They're
and they're
all
being used.
on the same. Yeah, I mean,
and it's going to be. This is the last time you're going to be able to see Favre and Breeze on the field not at the same time, but playing against each other.
All right, good sales job, guys.
Game. Yeah,
good sales job.
I most pulled up. Okay,
skip this part.
Like an old matchup and be like, this is Favre versus Rodgers, and like go over like what potential stats could be, by just looking at the matchup.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before we go, Caleb, StatGPT said that your Eagles take is not a hot take, so get dunked on.
I thought it was fresh out. I thought it was fresh out the oven.
They're I think they're the favorites in the NFC.
No, yeah, that was okay.
I think he was being sarcastic to his credit.
I know this is like new to you, but like sarcasm.
Shit.
There's this thing called sarcasm. And satire, where you say something that you know is not real.
Satire?
Yeah. Satire. The saddest of them all. I'll tell you what, my tires are sad right now. Need to buy some new ones. But that's neither here nor there. Speaking of the Packers, they and NFC picks, they were my pick to come out of the NFC, and I'm sticking with that. They're getting hot. I think it's going to be the Packers. So, and here's another transition. Look at this. Boom, boom. Packers, Milwaukee. My pick to win the finals was the Milwaukee Bucks. They just won the NBA Cup.
Which means,
statistically speaking, that means they won't. But they are playing well. So maybe I just no ball. I don't know. Some people are saying I don't. Maybe I do.
I haven't really paid attention to the bingo card. Have we got any updates on that? Or
no, nothing has.
Ones are weird.
Yeah, nothing has really stood out. Like I haven't been like going over the card and then let me check for this or that. I'm just on like NBA Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, oh okay, that was on our card. We need to update the card. But no, it's still I think the same as it was last time we covered it. LeBron's kind of hurting us by not dropping to his knees in protest of a referee call. So that hurts anytime you're not getting that in your bingo card.
Yeah.
But we're trying. We're trying. We've got 5 plus the free space.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Yeah. It's very
So,
possible.
Technically, we have enough for bingo. We just don't have them in the right order yet.
True.
Yeah.
True.
We're getting there.
We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Are we done talking sports?
I mean, yeah. I'm
Not
I think we
sure.
pretty much covered everything.
Not sure what next week's schedule is going to look like, listeners. We are recording this on Wednesday. Christmas Eve and Christmas are Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So just trying to carve out time. Maybe we'll get a short episode recorded Thursday. I don't know. I'll probably still be in town. I don't know what Tanner's schedule looks like or Luke's. But
We'll see.
We'll get something in there. But yeah, Merry Christmas.
Follow the Twitter. We'll let you
everybody.
know on Twitter what's going on. Could be nothing. Could be something. No idea. Surprise.
Yeah. I'll try to keep up with Instagram too. So follow Instagram.
One would
follow
say that it would be a Christmas miracle if you got a Yelling at Sports episode next week.
Yep.
Depending on what happens, because if the Steelers beat the Ravens and the Chiefs, I might put out a solo episode.
That's true. That's true. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how big the stories are, and maybe put one out for you guys.
Yeah. But if there's
Okay.
else,
Anything else? You guys got anything else?
I got nothing. The future bets that Luke and I talked about last week, they're looking good. I put quite a few in, so they're all looking pretty good. We're just praying that the brackets open up the way that we need them to open up, and the teams that we bet on don't play each other early. So.
Yep. Could set it up nicely. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in once again, and we will talk to you next week.
all right, y'all. I gotta go to sleep.
I'm gonna go to bed, and hate to interrupt you, Nick, but hey there. I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Yum, yum, yum,